Hi, I'm the Moorlander and this is Moorlander EDC. Now, back out in the wild with some of my favourite content ever. We love backpacks. I love backpacks. I'm a huge backpack nerd. Always have, always will be, until the day in probably thousands of years when I expire and I'm put into the ground. Today we are here to look at one of my all-time favourite backpack companies. If I did a top 10 or a top 5 backpacks, the Able Carry Max, always at number 1. Such an amazing backpack. We're here today to look at is the Able Carry Daily, which is very similar to the Max. In fact, the Max probably, I think the Daily came out before the Max, so the Max really is a large daily backpack. But for all intents and purposes, the Daily is a smaller version of the Max. I've probably said that 1,000 times now. I get you probably understand at this point. So this is what we're going to have a look at today, and I can give you a spoiler. It's actually a very, very good bag, whether it's in the office, which I probably should have took some footage of me in the office, but you only have to spend 2 minutes on the Able Carry website to be able to see that, there's a lot of footage of people out in the wilds with this. It makes a very good crossover bag, something that you can take into the office during the week, but then you can fill with whatever you need to and go out and do some day walks at the weekend as well. So what we'll do is I'll stop the waffling, I'll turn the camera around, but before I do that, normally at this point I would say, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'm definitely going to say that at this point because I'll leave a link down below to this. This is the Axwell wallet. This is the copper version, which I recently did a Force patina on. I do have a giveaway that's running at this moment in time, so check the links below, subscribe, and you'll be able to see how you can enter into this giveaway. So yes, that would be amazing. But for now, let's turn the camera around and let's take a look at the Able Carry Daily. So as we usually do, we'll go through some dimensions, some materials, and then we'll have a look around the bag and its features. There are, I suppose really start off with probably mention the colours. So there are, at the time of filming, there are 3 colours. This is the black version, there is also a blue version, and there is a green version. The main reason I'm telling you this is that the black and the blue version, let's say the black version that I have here, these are made from X-Pack material. So this is the VX21 material. Whereas if you go for the green version, which is kind of an OD green, Ranger green, olive green style colour, if you go for that version is made from 1000D Cordura. The weight on this comes in, and it's actually incredibly light. This is just less than a kilo. It comes in at 900 grams, which I think a kilo is 2.2 pounds, so it's probably just about 2 pounds, which I think for an everyday bag like this is actually really good. Now, measurements wise, this is a 20-litre backpack, and it's actually deceiving in the amount that you can fit in here, and it's certainly something that I've been thinking more about, and I'm definitely going to make some content around 20 litres or less backpacks, mainly because there's a lot of witchcraft. I don't know what it is, but they're becoming more viable daily backpacks. So for a 20-litre backpack you can certainly fit a lot into here. There is a dedicated suspended laptop sleeve, which again we will have a look at, that you can fit up to a 16-inch laptop in. So a 20-litre backpack with a 16-inch laptop it's quite a game changer. There's definitely been some very good internal management in here, but that 20 litres, so as far as the size is concerned, comes in at 480 millimeters by 280 millimeters by 190 millimeters deep. So it's probably, it's certainly not square, but the way in which they've been able to make sure that they can get that 16-inch laptop in there is to make it just a little bit wider. I certainly don't mind that. For me, as a man, having it a little bit wider so that the straps at the top can be a little bit wider certainly is definitely a benefit for me and in the way that I carry it. Now at this point, while I'm giving you measurements, I will give you some measurements for the internal laptop. So the internal laptop sleeve is 390 millimeters by 280 millimeters, so it does use the full width of the bag, and it's roughly 40 millimeters deep. I do get asked quite a bit as far as measurements for the laptop section inside, so it's really nice that on the Able Carry website that they were able to put the details for that on there. Now materials wise, so I mentioned this is made from your X-Pack material. If you're new to X-Pack, X-Pack material is, it's also referred to as sailcloth. It's the material that is used on sail ships in the Olympics and that sort of stuff. So it's incredibly tough, but also the way in which the fibres are stitched on this, it almost has like a rip-stop kind of feature to it. And also the materials in here, it does have some hydrostatic qualities as well. Just to add to that, there is a DWR finish on here, so if you are concerned about this being out in the rain, the DWR certainly allows water to just bead and just roll off it. Now, is it 100% waterproof? I don't think it is, mainly because probably the stitches, or at least the seams, I don't think that the seams on this are taped. They have got YKK AquaGuard zippers on here. The main zipper into this section is an AquaGuard zip. The one here at the side is also AquaGuard, and there is also a small pocket at the back. Again, that's AquaGuard. So it will certainly help water to stop water from getting into here. So they really have done a lot to make sure that your technology that's in here is looked after. Now on the front, as far as the front section is concerned, you know, this is it's a very clean looking backpack. There's certainly no Molly Pals webbing or anything like that. It's just this very clean and very classic looking. There is a zipper here that I mentioned which goes into this quick access pocket. On the sides there are no dedicated bottle pockets on here, so that is something that you will need to consider if that's something that's important to you. Now, correct me if I'm wrong with this, I hope that I'm right with this, but Able Carry have another backpack which I think is called the 13, which does have them on there. So if that's something that you know is important to you, then maybe look at that other. They are a very similar backpack. But on here, so there are some lashing points just in case you do want to attach anything to the side. And then they also have this A-frame system. So the way in which that the A-frame system works is, so the straps come all the way down, and rather than just having the webbing attached to here and then just left, the same webbing comes underneath here and then attaches here at the front. And then again the same piece of webbing, so there isn't an actual break in this webbing here, comes all the way around and continues through. It is stitched here, but then continues here round to the side. What the A-frame does is make sure that if you do have heavy things in here, that you don't get that slump forward that you do get with certain packs. That slump will mean that, you know, it will swing from side to side potentially, and there's some other effects on your back and shoulders which you don't really. It's a strange thing. When I started to use these, especially with the Able Carry Max, you can fit a lot more into that. I certainly didn't think that there would be much benefit to this A-frame system, but when you've got a lot in there, you certainly do feel it. Now, I wouldn't say you feel it as you're walking, but having this on for prolonged periods of time, and the fact that it's almost like holding a pregnant lady from behind. You know, you're just lifting this up to take up some of that pressure, and yeah, it certainly does a great job of that. Now the webbing on here is this really nice seat belt webbing as well, which I definitely have to commend Able Carry, and it's one of the reasons why they are one of my favourite backpack companies, is they really don't scrimp on the materials, and the webbing on this is just very incredibly nice webbing. Now, so I have mentioned there is a zipper pocket here on the front, a quick access zipper pocket. So it zips from the top all the way down, and you also have these really nice Hyperlon tabs on here, so you certainly don't have any difficulties finding it. And also, even on days like this where I'm wearing gloves, you know, certainly don't have any difficulties pulling on those. Open this up into a large pocket. Now I'm going to put my hand in here, and it goes down to this bottom seam here, and it goes all the way up to this additional seam that's here as well. So you get pretty much the full length of the pack. And as far as it round to the side, where the zip is here, I can feel my fingers. So it does use, now I would say the full width of the front, but because this comes in maybe say 12 centimeters, 120 millimeters in, then it doesn't use the full section, but it does use a large section in there. So in here at the moment, I've got, I've got the, what's it for this? So I've got a little Aldi bag, which I don't care whether you think you're a gangster or not. If you don't carry a little Aldi fold-away tote bag, you definitely aren't gangster enough. I've got my little scrapes and boo-boo kit in there as well. But what you also get is a key stay, so that if you need to have your keys attached to here, then you can do that, and then you can keep those in there as well. Now, before we get into the inside, here at the top you get this really big grab handle. Now, the grab handle on this, I want to say it's the same webbing, because I think, I can't quite get a purchase with my gloves on. Let's take my glove off a second. I think it's tubular. I do think it's tubular webbing. So if you're into climbing and certainly outdoors stuff like that, then you'll probably know of tubular webbing. So it's a tube. But it's also a lot stronger. But what they've done for the tubular webbing that goes across here for the grab handle is that they've stitched it in. I also really love the little accents that Able Carry do on all of the stitching. Yeah, it's just little details like that I really like about Able Carry. But as it's stitched over, they've also put some sort of foam in here as well, so that it's really nice on your hands. Now, I've got medium to large size hands. I can fit them in there, no issues whatsoever. Grab that and open it up with ease. 2 zips pulled down, not a full clamshell opening, but on the sides where you've got this webbing that comes through here, it just stops on that webbing. Oh, there's also a little Able Carry little kind of logo here on this Hyperlon material. But it comes down probably, I'd say, I don't know, 3/5 of the way down, so it just means that you do get a really nice large opening when it opens up. So opening this up, you get to see everything that's on the inside here. Now, this isn't a military style backpack, however I always ensure that these are tactical teddy bear compliant, so I can confirm Able Carry daily backpack is definitely tactical teddy bear compliant. Now, the other thing that I have here on the top, which I just love these, my wife absolutely rips me for this, but when these come to you, they come in this really nice little cloth sack. So whenever I finish with this bag and maybe take another bag out for the day, I always make sure I put it back in its nice little sleeping bag. That's what my wife calls them, my little bag sleeping bags. Okay, so let's have a look at this front panel first. Now, I'm going to call this the front mainly because this is the front of the bag. That's the way in which this identifies. So you have this really nice ripstop material on the inside. Now, a lot of these companies generally tend to go for a 210 ripstop. I'm not sure with this. It actually feels a little bit stronger than a 210, but if they, I'll probably triple check, but it does feel a little bit more heartier. It's got a nice bit more of a crumple to it. But here on the left-hand side, now I did mention, so on the outside there are no external pockets on this, but here on the left-hand side, there is an external pocket that runs all the way down the front here. I don't think you're going to be able to fit a bottle in here, but it is absolutely perfect for rainy days. If you want to put an umbrella in there, you can put that in there, and it's just there so that you can pull it out when you need. Here next to that you have a zip pocket, which is reasonably big. I mean, at this moment in time I've got quite a few flashlights because that's what we are out. I'm also doing that today. I've got my little Buddy 9-in-1 pack on there, and yes, we've got some other flashlights because I'm going to be making some other content, but it's a nice, real easy to get to easy access pocket there straight on the front. Also, as I'm out today, I brought a drink out with me. The company that I work for, Inizio, have just done some rebranding, and they've given all of these nice merch kind of bottles. So I was like, right, I'll take one of those, thank you very much. And then, as you'll probably see in a lot of my other videos, so I have my alpaca tech pouch, which I take everywhere with me. I also have my little kind of tech pouch that, well, I definitely take this everywhere with me. There are times when I leave the alpaca one at home, but this is a little one that I made from an IKEA pouch. And then I've got some of the boxes of the flashlights that I'm going to do, but all of this is lined. All of the stitching is impeccable, reinforcement where it needs reinforcement. And then here on the back, I'm calling this the back because this is the back panel. You have a reasonably large mesh pocket, which again, you know, oh, I have my zebra pen that I had at work the other day. So you can put your cables in here, your laptop cables, to make sure that you've got easy access to those. And then behind there, you also have your padded laptop sleeve. So this is padded on the front here, so anything that is in here, it will protect that from the contents of your bag. And it also has quite a bit of padding between the back of the bag and your back as well. Now I'll put the measurements here. I did give them at the beginning of this, but I'll put the measurements. So I carry a 16-inch Lenovo backpack, and it fits in perfectly, even with a little bit more space, so that I can put some of my notepads in front of it as well. And then you just have some nice little minimal branding here on the front. Now there is another thing. Now I'll show you this because I've not watched a lot of other people make content on this bag, but I've not noticed anybody mention this before. When you flip that over, there is also another little pocket here. Now this pocket doesn't access the pocket that there is here at the top, the quick access pocket. It's just a tiny pocket here. So if you have an air tag, if you have a tile or anything like that, and you're concerned that maybe your bag might be taken, because let's face it, when somebody steals a bag, generally they'll steal it, take out anything valuable, and then they'll just dump the bag. So it's a good thing to have there. It's not, well, it's actually quite hard to find. You have to roll that whole top over to be able to find it. So I think that's a really nice addition, especially for people that are considering traveling with this. And then in the front, lastly, before we look at the back of here, so there is some additional padding in here, so if you want to take this out, you can completely take this out, which will lighten the bag, but as I mentioned, you know, it's only just lighter than a kilo, so it's not particularly heavy in the grand scheme of things. But that's the inside. Now spinning this round to the back, before we talk about the suspension system, there is also another quick access pocket here at the top, so any sort of valuables, keys, maybe your mobile phone or wallet, maybe if you're doing some day trips out, there is a huge pocket here. Now I do say huge, so it's probably about 15 to 16 centimeters across, but when I put my hand in, so it goes all the way down to there, which is probably another 20 centimeters, 200 millimeters in. It's not fleece lined. Now, I'm not sure if there was a reason that they decided not to fleece line it. I think if there was anything that I would change about this, and this really does not take anything away from this bag. I'd give I don't give 10 out of 10s, but you know, this is a 9.5 out of 10. If they did add a fleece lining to this, I think that would be amazing, mainly because then if you're putting your mobile phone into here, if you're putting glasses into here, you've got that extra protection that you don't need to worry about items scratching in there. It's a tiny, insignificant change. I suppose it's not insignificant because I mentioned it, but if they did that, I think that would make this an awesome pack. It still is an awesome pack. It still is an awesome pack. That's what I really need to say on this. It's a very small change. Anyway, let's move on. Now I mentioned this earlier, and that is the fact that because you can fit a 16-inch laptop into here, they have made it a little bit wider. For me, as a man with a broader shoulder, it's just a really, really nice carry. Almost chef's kiss. And one of the reasons that on that is, so the distance between the top of the straps is just that extra little bit wider. It's probably about maybe 2 inches, which doesn't seem much, but it is just a little bit wider than you get on some packs. And then because you've got this extra real estate on here, you've got some really nice wide straps. Now, I can't say enough how nice it is to have nice wide straps like this. Almost, and I'm talking almost kind of go-ruck width for the straps. The padding in here is actually really nice and firm. It's not like a plush, that's the wrong word. It does feel plush, but it's not a very kind of soft, spongy one. Personally, I prefer that over those really kind of marshmallowy style ones. But yes, so lovely and wide, and then when you flip these over, you've got some mesh on the back to make sure that, you know, if you do sweat, then it will help to wick away some of that. These are designed and made, I believe, in Hong Kong, so with the type of climate that they have there, you can totally see why they will have used this material on the back to make sure well, put it this way, it's certainly warmer there than it is here in the Kingdom of the Moorlands. And then rather than using a flat panel at the back, they have more of this really nice dense padding on the back, and then you have a nice ventilation system through here as well. Now, this is my favorite style of ventilation system, and that is where the groove through the back goes all the way down to the bottom, rather than having a pad across the bottom here. There are 2 pads here for the lower of your back, but they don't meet in the middle to make sure that all of this area gets the full advantage of air being able to get through there. Does it stop you from sweating? No. And I think if any company ever tells you that their new back panel will stop you from sweating, I mean, that's just out and out a lie. But what it does mean is it allows you to get as much air in there to make sure that it just adds to the comfortability. And then here at the bottom, it flares out ever so slightly, which is where the suspension system attaches, and then that then goes round, as I mentioned before, the webbing there goes through onto the A-frame system that they've got. And how does it carry? Well, I'm sure you've probably guessed already. I've alluded to quite a few different things. It carries very, very well. Everything is fully adjustable, as you know you'd probably expect with a modern day backpack. I hadn't mentioned already, but it also has a sternum strap. I'm a huge fan of sternum straps. I know there are other content creators out there, not mentioning any names, George Find, who's not a fan of the sternum strap, but for me personally, I quite enjoy sternum straps. It's just very nice. The additional width that you have on the shoulder straps, I don't know, for me, for the way in which I carry a backpack, the width of my shoulders, the broad, beautiful, virile, manly chest, whatever. It's just a very nice backpack to carry, and I think for a 20-litre backpack, you can fit quite a bit in this. It is quite deceiving the amount that you can fit into this backpack, and I think mainly that's why whatever witchcraft they've done on it to make sure you can put more in here, they've really thought about, well, okay, you can put more into it, maybe we should put an extra little bit more into the support that you get from the suspension system, which I've said this, I mean, I'm not blowing smoke up the arse. Maybe I am, no, I'm not, I really aren't, but Able Carry do put a significant amount of thought. Ooh, I like the sound of that leather. They really do put a significant amount of thought into their products, which again is, you know, one of the reasons why oh heck, I will blow smoke up their arse. They're a very good company, and they are making brilliant backpacks. I've got 3 backpacks. There's the Max, there's the Daily, and then there's the Daybreaker. The Daybreaker is the one that I took on holiday with me. Really, really good for traveling, super light. I'll leave a link, whichever side the link goes. Daybreaker's a great bag. Yeah, I've got that one. Anyway, what I'll do is, I'll leave some links below so that you can see more from Able Carry. I'll also leave some links in the description or around, you know where they always go. I'll leave some links in there as well so that you can see my other content from Able Carry as well. Highly recommend checking out my one on the Able Carry Max. That is an absolutely incredible backpack. Oh, a train's just gone past. That's good timing. Anyway, so yes, I will leave some of their links below. I will also leave some of my social media links so that you can see more from me on the interwebs. But for now, stay safe, stay Moorlander, and stay EDC. It's quite warm today. Warmish. It's not cold, it's not warm. I've probably got insulation. It's all about layers. Layers. Is that Shrek? And everyone like parfait, or whatever he says. Anyway, what was I? Let's do this. Shoot. Hi. I thought I dropped it. Let's do it again. I can't click. That doesn't help. There, heading that way. I can tell that because of my bushcrafting days, and I have 2 ears. Anyway, where were we? Interwebs. That's perfect timing for a bloody train. Boop boop! Oh, still nice and warm. Gorgeous day. Ow, 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 still very hot. Now you're probably wondering what's in here. Some of you, obviously knowing the Kingdom of the Moorlands that well, will probably think that it is a cup of tea. Or at least a flask of tea. Some of you may think that I'm one of those coffee drinking hard men. I mean, you'd think that from the exterior. Warm Ribena. You just can't put down warm Ribena. Fact, real men of the world drink warm, hot, not warm, not tepid, hot Ribena. If you've got through to the outtakes to this section, do you live in a part of the world where you have Ribena? Are you a Ribena drinking country? Maybe I should do, maybe I should. Maybe that'd be a good one. The Moorlander Tastes. Send me weird stuff from around the world and I'll send you some Ribena and you will become a warm Ribena aficionado. Actually really nice. Really nice. Anyway, let's do some filming.